Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today is Saturday, so it's time for my weekly TBR. I've been, I'm really happy with how I'm doing these TBR videos, these weekly TBRs. For monthly, when I used to do monthly TBR videos, I felt like pressured and obligated to read the books that I set out for myself, and that never ever happened. Like I don't know, I'd lose interest in that, in those books that I set aside, and I'd find myself either going into a reading slump or picking out different ones that, just sounded interesting. So I started doing these weekly TBR videos, and I'm very happy with how it's turned out. Every week I put aside, or I pick out 3 or 4 books that I just, that I want to read, that I have the interest, in reading, that, they're just grabbing my interest, at that moment. And I can, actually say that I've read just about every book that I put aside for myself, with the exception of one. There was one that I didn't read. But I'm reading what I set aside to read, and that is just making me happy, and I'm really happy with how it's all coming out. I'm reading books that either I'm buying, right away, or I'm reading books that have been on my shelf for a very long time. In January, in my resolutions video, I told you I had a huge TBR shelf, or bookcase, and in my case I have like a bookcase and a half of TBR books. I don't read, when I buy so many books, I don't read like those books. I used to go to the library and get like 100 books out. Believe me, that's actually happened one time. I went on my account, and it said I had 100 books taken out, and I wanted to cry because I only had a couple months to read 100 books, and that was so not gonna happen. I still had so many books on my shelves, and I stopped going to the library. That's one of the reasons. Now I have a Kindle, or I have the Kindle app on my phone, and I'm not reading as many books on there, but that's okay. I can deal with that. But what I can't deal with is so many books on my shelves, especially ones that I want to read so badly. Like, these are books that I'm like just eager to read, and books that I have been maybe anticipating coming out, that I just put on my shelf and I set them aside and I don't touch them, and I hate that. And so I'm actually happy that I'm getting through most of the books that I'm reading. I can actually safely say I can actually see myself bringing my TBR pile, or my TBR shelves, down. Like, I'm actually doing that. Like, yeah, I'm buying books. I'm getting quite a number of books, but I'm also reading them almost right away. And I'm really excited that I'm doing that. I'm also reading like a series a month, and that gets so many books taken out of my TBR case. Now, I don't set them aside from read and to be read. I just, it's in my head whether I've read it or not. And I'm actually, because I used to go over and I used to be like, I've read that, I haven't read that, I've read that, I haven't, I read, haven't. But now I can actually say read, haven't, read, and it's making me happy. I don't have more read books than I do have unread. I don't know for sure, but I have a feeling like there's still quite a number of unread, but it's not as bad anymore, and it's getting down there, and I'm just happy. Yeah, so okay, that was quite a ramble. Let's get on with the books. It's gonna be better. So I picked out 4 books this week. It's the end of June, and I just figured, what books did I want to read to close out the month with, and these came up. So yeah, I picked out 4. I know normally I only pick out 3 and then one I'm actually currently reading, but I feel like I can read these 4 relatively well, and if I can't, I can't. You know, if I miss one, it's okay with me. I'll get to it next week. But, yeah, so they're all different genres, which is quite funny because I didn't mean to do that. But those are just the books that I started grabbing, and I noticed, oh, they're all different genres. So I have a science fiction, a fantasy, a horror type, and contemporary. So let's start with the science fiction. You probably already know what it is. I read Illuminae last week and actually really enjoyed it. Didn't think I was going to, but I did make a review of it and all of my thoughts are on there. So I'll link that down below, and I'll talk more about it in my wrap-up as well. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was actually very good. And so I have Gemina, also by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, which is the sequel to Illuminae, of course. This is an advanced reader's copy. I got this at BookCon. And so since I have Gemina, I can actually continue on, which I'm really excited. I don't have to wait until, I think it's October when this one comes out. Yeah, October. So I'm gonna delve right into it. I really want to know what happens next, because the ending was like really something. So now the fantasy, I picked Truth Witch by Susan Dennard. This is the only book that I did set aside for myself in the last few like months, something like that, that I haven't read, but I've wanted to read. So now I am definitely going to. This is Truth Witch by Susan Dennard, I think, which is the first book in the Witchlands series. I know the sequel has to be coming out soon. Or no, maybe it's next year. See, I keep forgetting that this one, I think, came out this year. I think this one came out in like January of this year, so I keep forgetting that. But this will be coming, you know, the sequel will be coming out in January of next year. Must be. And everyone's been raving about it. Everyone's been saying that this is actually really good, and it focuses on you know, magic and witches and friendship, which is, I think there's still like a little romance, but it's mostly friendship, which is definitely unique in young adult because it mostly focuses on romance, or at least most of them do, and those are the ones I usually gravitate towards. But this one sounds really good, so I definitely want to pick this up soon. Now the horror type is actually one I've thought about just unhauling for the longest time. I never, you know, every time I think, okay, I'm going to read that, I never do. It's actually on my 16 of 2016 books that I really actually just want to read because I want them off my to-be-read pile. And I thought about just getting rid of it, you know, for a really long time. Because I just didn't, you know, it's like I had interest and then I don't and then I do, you know, it's like, it's really weird. But I saw the trailer for the upcoming movie for it and it looked really good. So I want to at least attempt to read this one, and that is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. And it's a New York Times bestseller, so I don't know why, it has pictures, and I think like the book kind of correlates with the pictures, something like that. I don't exactly know what it's about. I know it's got to do with peculiar children, like people who are peculiar. I think there's like a haven for these children. And I know like the movie, there's this boy named Jacob, and he, I don't know, like, I think he's like meant to protect them or something. I really don't know much about this. I know Jesse from Jesse the Reader raves about it. It's like his favorite series, and I still have not read this one, and it's been on my shelf for, I want to say over a year and a half maybe. I don't know, I've never picked it up, but the movie looked really good, so I definitely want to at least attempt to read it. And that's the book. If I don't get to it this week, or at least if I don't finish it this week, I'll be okay with it, but I at least want to attempt. Now, the last one, the contemporary one, is one I definitely want to get to very soon. It looks really good, and I've heard some good things about it, and that is More Happy Than Not by Adam Silvera. I just recently got this, and this is about a boy named Aaron, who is oh god. So it's about a boy named Aaron, who I believe his father passed away. It says a family tragedy, but I think I was looking it up on like Amazon or something, and it says something about his father passing, so I'm pretty sure that was it. And his girlfriend, I believe, leaves for like the summer. Again, I'm not entirely sure, but this is what I'm thinking it is. So he meets this new guy, or this new boy named Thomas, and they become like best friends. But Aaron, I believe, starts to develop feelings for Thomas, and it's just him discovering who he is, and yeah, just sounds really good, and I want to pick it up. I read Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda and really loved that one. It was really good. Again, I'll talk more about that in my wrap up, but so I'm definitely eager to pick this one up and see how this one is. So yeah, we'll see. Alright guys, this is a longer video than I would have normally liked. Usually I like it if they're like under like 8 minutes or so, but this one's gonna be a 12-minute video. And that's fine. I went into a rant in the beginning, and that's just what happens. Alright guys, so that's all for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Happy reading.